careful with the word destiny, it can become an excuse for not doing the work. A way of crediting something external for what two people built. A way of hiding the choosing in the comfortable murk. So when I say we're bound by destiny, I wanna be precise about what bound and destiny mean. Not bound like constrained, not destiny like predetermined. Bound like committed, destiny like the clearest thing I've seen. The clearest choice I've made, the most considered, the one that came from everything I've learned and lived and known. Not because the universe arranged it and then handed it to me, because I looked at every option and chose this, chose you alone. Not bound by what we couldn't change or couldn't see, bound by what we both decided was worth being bound to. Not the destiny that removes the agency, the destiny that is the agency freely chosen. True, bound by destiny, and the destiny is this, the choosing every day. Not a force that held us here against our better judgment. The force of two people who kept on choosing to stay. Bound by destiny, not the word as it's been used and worn and borrowed as the most honest description of a love that's been decided, of a future that was chosen, not just followed. We are bound by our own hands, by our own choosing. Bound by destiny, which turns out to be the most free thing I know. I think about the moments when the choosing cost something, when staying required more than staying had before, and both of us chose anyway, not out of obligation, because what we have was worth the cost, was worth the more. Those are the moments that make the destiny real, not the easy ones, not the ones that asked for nothing, the ones that tested what we said we were to each other and found us still choosing, still meaning, still something. And that accumulated choosing year by year is what I mean when I say we're bound by destiny. Not the cosmic kind, the made kind, the kind that two deliberate people build when they keep on choosing each other freely. Not bound by what we couldn't change or couldn't see, bound by what we both decided was worth being bound to. Not the destiny that removes the agency, the destiny that is the agency freely chosen. True, bound by destiny, and the destiny is this, the choosing every day. Not a force that held us here against our better judgment. The force of two people who kept on choosing to stay. Bound by destiny, not the word as it's been used and worn and borrowed as the most honest description of a love that's been decided, of a future that was chosen, not just followed. We are bound by our own hands, by our own choosing. Bound by destiny, which turns out to be the most free thing I know. Freedom and commitment aren't opposites, that's the thing that took me years to understand. The deepest freedom isn't the absence of connection, it's finding the connection worth the giving of your hand. And this is that, this particular love, this particular choosing is where I'm most free. Not despite the being bound, because of what I'm bound to. Because when what holds you is something you chose with everything you had, that isn't a chain, that's the only thing worth calling destiny. Bound by destiny, and the destiny is this, the choosing every day. Not a force that held us here against our better judgment. The force of two people who kept on choosing to stay. Bound by destiny, not the word as it's been used and worn and borrowed as the most honest description of a love that's been decided, of a future that was chosen, not just followed. We are bound by our own hands, by our own choosing. Bound by destiny, which turns out to be the most everything I know. Not constrained, not predetermined, chosen. With full awareness, with everything available. And still, that's the destiny. That's the only kind worth the name. It happens without arrangement or intention. The reaching for the phone just as it rings with you. The thought that surfaces mid-morning without reason. And then your message arriving with the same thought too. I don't have a clean explanation for the pattern. I've tried to find the rational and it keeps coming up short. Not because I need it to be something mystical, because the coincidences have become too many to report. And I've stopped trying to explain them, stop looking for the mechanism underneath. Some things are better held than understood completely. Some things live more fully in the feel than in the belief. Not every time, I wanna be honest about that. The synchrony isn't constant or without its gaps, but often enough, and specifically enough, that I've started paying attention to what it perhaps maps. The synchronicity of love, the reaching at the same time for the same unspoken thing. The feeling that arrives in both of us together, the particular harmony that two attuned people bring. The synchronicity of love, not magic, not a claim about the cosmic or the faded. Just two people who have learned each other deeply, whose inner lives have somehow quietly been related. Not explained, not required to be. The synchronicity of love, real enough to notice, rare enough to keep. I think about what makes it possible, the synchrony, not the mystical, but the built, the learned, the known. Two people who have paid each other genuine attention, who have made the other's inner landscape something of their own. So when one feels something the other is already feeling, it isn't magic, it's the depth of what we've built. The years of listening, of noticing, of choosing to be present, arriving at the place where sharing happens without guilt. And that, the built version of the synchrony, is more beautiful to me than any cosmic explanation. That we made this by paying close attention, that the connection came from genuine dedication. Not every time, I wanna be honest about that. The synchrony isn't constant or without its gaps, but often enough, and specifically enough, that I've started paying attention to what it perhaps maps. The synchronicity of love, the reaching at the same time for the same unspoken thing. The feeling that arrives in both of us together, the particular harmony that two attuned people bring. The synchronicity of love, not magic, not a claim about the cosmic or the faded. Just two people who have learned each other deeply, whose inner lives have somehow quietly been related. Not explained, not required to be. The synchronicity of love, real enough to notice, rare enough to keep. The most astonishing thing about it isn't the coincidence itself. It's what the coincidence reveals, that two people can become so genuinely present to each other, that the distance between their inner lives gets smaller than expected. Not the same person, never the same, but close enough that sometimes what one is feeling is already waiting in the other. That's not fate, that's love that paid attention. The The synchronicity of love, the reaching at the same time for the same unspoken thing. The feeling that arrives in both of us together, the particular harmony that two attuned people bring. The synchronicity of love, not magic, not a claim about the cosmic or the fated. Just two people who have learned each other deeply, whose inner lives have somehow quietly been related. Not explained, not required to be. The synchronicity of love, real enough to notice, rare enough to keep. Not magic, not destiny, just two people who paid close enough attention that sometimes they arrive at the same place at the same time without having to say a word. It didn't announce itself, that's the honest part. No particular music, no shift in the quality of light. Just an ordinary moment, doing what ordinary moments do. And somewhere inside it, something beginning out of sight. I've tried to locate the exact one, the precise second, the moment before and the moment after, side by side. But love doesn't work that way in the real. It doesn't leave a timestamp where it started to reside. It leaves a feeling though, a particular recognition that something is different from what it was before. Not dramatically, the way seasons change without a ceremony, just different, and then more different, and then more. Neither of us knew it while it was beginning. That's the part I keep returning to in wonder, that something this significant can start so quietly, can arrive without the fanfare or the thunder. Where love begins, not in the moment we decided to call it that. Earlier, in the unremarkable, in the ordinary, in the conversation that seemed like simple chat. Where love begins before it had a name or a direction or a shape. When it was just the quiet leaning toward a person, the particular feeling of not wanting to escape. That's where it started, in the nothing much, in the ordinary, where love quietly begins. I remember something, not the beginning but nearby, a moment that in hindsight had the warmth already in it. The way you said something and I laughed before I meant to. The way the room felt different by the end of that 1 minute. Not love yet, not the name thing, something earlier, the unnamed thing that becomes the name thing given time. The particular quality of a person finding their way into your attention before the attention knows what it's doing, before the sign. And now I look back at that moment with the knowing, and it looks different than it did when I was in it. It looks like where love begins, like the first small movement, the unremarkable start of something infinite. Neither of us knew it while it was beginning. That's the part I keep returning to in wonder, that something this significant can start so quietly, can arrive without the fanfare or the thunder. Where love begins, not in the moment we decided to call it that. Earlier, in the unremarkable, in the ordinary, in the conversation that seemed like simple chat. Where love begins before it had a name or a direction or a shape. When it was just the quiet leaning toward a person, the particular feeling of not wanting to escape. That's where it started, in the nothing much, in the ordinary, where love quietly begins. The the beginning, didn't know it was the beginning. That's the strange and beautiful part of how it works. It just was what it was, a moment, a person, a laughing underneath the ordinary surface. Something stirs, and I'm glad it didn't announce itself. Glad it arrived the way the real things arrive, quietly, without asking to be recognized. Just beginning, just alive. Because if it had come with fanfare, I might have tensed, prepared a version of myself for the occasion. Instead it found me ordinary, undefended, and that's the only way a real beginning has the room to happen. Where love begins, not in the moment we decided to call it that. Earlier, in the unremarkable, in the ordinary, in the conversation that seemed like simple chat. Where love begins, before it had a name or a direction or a shape. When it was just the quiet leaning toward a person, the particular feeling of not wanting to escape. That's where it started, in the nothing much, in the ordinary, where love quietly begins. Not in the decided, not in the announced, in the ordinary moment that didn't know it was the beginning of everything.